Hello, yeah. Welcome back to the Remake-A-Thon. With today we're looking at Ocean's 11, a remake of the 1960 film starring the Rat Pack. I mean, like Frank Sinatra and Angman. I can see him. Sammy Davis Jr. and hey Mambo, Mambo Italiano, hey Mambo. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Dean Martin. Yes, I did have to sing to remember his name. But now we got a bunch of stars of modern times like George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Julia Roberts, Scott Conn, Elliot Gould, Carl Reiner. Rest in peace. Just Bernie Mac is in this. There are cameos from Topher Grace, who at the time was big on That 70s Show. And you have Joshua Jackson, who at the time was big on Dawson Creek. Barry Watson, who was big on Seventh Heaven at the time. Holly Marie Combs, who was big on Charmed. Was there one more guy in there? Topher, Sean, no. Shane West. Was he on a show? I know him from Walk to Remember with Mandy Moore, but was Shane West on a show at the time? He eventually went to ER, but not yet. That'd be ironic, being a George Clooney show. George Clooney plays Danny Ocean, man who was in prison for an amount of time, and now he's out, and he's getting revenge on this man, Terry Benedict, for revenge for stealing his wife, and he's going to steal $160 million with the help of 10 other guys. So he meets up with Brad Pitt, and they come together to recruit this team, the Ocean's 11. It's not said in the movie, but, like I said, it's a remake of the 1960s film. Have not seen that, but, my mom was a fan of Dean Martin. Yeah. And I love his songs. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Get Jerry Lewis in there. If you call her your pet, though she smells like spaghetti, that's amore. Bell will ring, dang-a-ling-a-ling, dang-a-ling-a-ling, dang-a-ling-a-ling. We sing Mita Bella. Yes, I love that clip with Jerry Lewis. Martin and Lewis, great duo in their time. This is great. Ever watch Hollywood or Bust? That's a good one. I watched on YouTube once. Yeah, I watched on YouTube once. Hollywood or Bust. That's a good one. Hollywood. They're singing in the car on the way there. Hollywood or Bust. It's fun. Anyway, no singing here. You get an Elvis song in Vegas, which reminds me of the show Las Vegas, starring James Caan, Scott Conn's daddy. Rest in peace. Irony there. I don't even know if that was on the air at this time, 2001. I have to look it up. But anyway. So, yeah. We got a fantastic cast all around. And this is about revenge, right? He's getting revenge for the guy constantly put in jail and then stole his wife. So it's revenge that he's after. He's getting his money. It's not only money. At one point, Danny gets kicked off his own team because they realize that it's too personal. Because he goes and he sees Andy Garcia's character, Terry. And that's when, it's put on red alert. Like, he shouldn't have done that. Because he goes, he sees his wife. That's what he does. He sees his wife. Terry walks off. And it's all red alert. A red alert on him. And so they have to kind of do it without him. Let's say it will work. And like most heist films, there's the little twist at the end. You get stuff like in Fast Five, where they switch the safes, or the many twists of the Now You See Me movies. It ends with a little twist like, oh, not what you thought you saw. Yeah. So they have Carl Reiner who plays Saul, playing this Russian guy. The whole thing is that there's a fight going on at the MGM Grand, so you're going to use that as a distraction. Even though they end up turning the power off on everything, I don't know. But they have to use this briefcase as sort of a Trojan horse to get in there. And then they have Matt Damon come in, and I'm still confused on what his part was. He comes in and he outs Bernie Mac's character as Frank, not Ramon, as he was called. And then they sort of, maybe it's another distraction. I don't know. It's confusing. But they see footage of them robbing the place, so he calls in a SWAT team. The SWAT team goes in there, and then they start to realize that something is off, because they say, hey, you have my money. They track down this this van that's supposed to have money in it, and it's a bunch of stuff for strippers, right? And they're not strippers, prostitutes. Excuse me, there's a difference. I mean, strippers will take it off, but prostitutes, they'll go a little bit further. And that strippers are legal, prostitutes are not. Anyway, so then it's like, well, what's going on? It turns, the money is gone, and what they're watching was a videotape. This is 2001, and the SWAT team members were actually the group. So it succeeded. Also, the Japanese guy or the Chinese guy, the Asian guy, gets his hand stuck in it and don't want to blow the thing, but it doesn't blow up conveniently when he pushes the button, and then it does later. They blow up half the money, take the other half, but it still have 160 million they can split. And then something confusing happens where they send footage to Danny's ex-wife, that's Julia Roberts, of Terry making a deal that if he returns the money, he'll give Danny his wife back. And somehow that convinces her to switch sides and go back to Danny. Now, if I was in that situation, I'd say, fuck both of you, I'm out of here. And I'd be driving off in the sunset somewhere, But, into the sunset, excuse me. By the way, driving into the sunset is not very smart because it's very bright going that direction, I would think. But yeah, and the movie also ends with an implication of a sequel because I'll call him Cliff because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But Brad Pitt's character picks up Danny because he goes to jail again. He picks him up from jail. The wife is there, and they drive off, but we see that two of Terry's goons are following them, and then the movie ends, implying that there could be continuation, which, It's just directed by Steven Soderbergh, who also brought us many other movies, which I've not seen, but I've also, one I have seen, Unsane. I don't think I've seen any of his movies. Unsane, a movie he filmed on an iPhone camera. And it's not a bad movie. It's got Joshua Leonard from the Blair Witch Project. Justice for them. Give them the goddamn money, man. And, what's her name? Claire, whatever her name is. She was in there I think she was in one of the girl with the dragon tattoo thing. Claire Foy. Yeah, that's a good one. It's a horror movie. It's a psychological horror movie. It's a good one. This was also good. The acting, of course, is fantastic. Come on, look at the actors you got here. George Clooney, Jace. Brad Pitt, Jace. Carl Reiner, Jace. Elliot Gould, Jace. Bernie Mac, Jace. Matt Damon, Jace. Julia Roberts, Jace. Andy Garcia, Jace. Top notch. All the way through the cast, right? Scott Conn doesn't get much lines. He is there. And I don't know who the Japanese guy is supposed to be. If you replaced him like Jackie Chan or Jet Li, you'd have an all-star cast. I don't know if this guy's famous in this country. I don't know, but I've never heard of him before. Maybe they got all this cast. It was like, we need actually 11. We have no more money. Hey, you! Come here, be in movie. I don't know. Is that how Steven Soderbergh talks? Hey, you, come here, be in movie. He's not foreign, to my knowledge. But yeah, this was a fun ride. You got the shots. So at first, when I saw this, I'm like, is this a Guy Ritchie movie? I have issue with Guy Ritchie movies because they're kind of, except for Aladdin. Aladdin is shot normal, but he does those shots where it's like, I don't know. When I tried to watch Rock and Roller, it was confusing for me to follow. I have yet to go back to that. But there was another one I watched with Jason Statham wearing a bad hairpiece. What was it called? I don't remember what it was called, but I didn't care for it. It was another Guy Ritchie one I didn't care for. I understand Guy Ritchie's a good director. Maybe his style's not for me. I don't know. Soderbergh's style is similar, but not as janky. For me, there's editing. In a heist movie, you gotta have the editing. Look at the show Leverage. They do a lot of that heist stuff where they gotta, they do the heist and then it might seem to go wrong. And they gotta go back and they show you what you missed. They kind of do that here too. I love heist things. So that's why I like the later Fast and Furious movies. I like all the Fast and Furious movies, to be honest. But I think for heist films, shows, that's why I like Leverage. The new one, Leverage, Redemption. I don't like what they did with Nate. I understand what Timothy Hutton did was wrong, but they didn't. The character had gone through so much in that with that first series and all the trauma, and he finally got justice for them. I won't spoil it, but to do what they did. It's one of those things where you have to do this to bring back the show, and it doesn't. No, you have to undo stuff, and it just doesn't. Anyway, this movie is pretty good. It's a short review. Like I said, it's a little bit hard to follow for me, but I will watch it again eventually. I enjoyed this. There are 2 sequels and a spin-off. And an all-female spin-off, too. Which Julia Roberts is not present. You think it's weird. She was like the sole female character in these movies I could find. Well, Catherine Zeta-Jones. She dips under the lasers in the next one from what I saw. But, Andy Garcia comes back. It's going to be fun times. But that's not now. That is eventually for a sequel-a-thon. What's next is going to be... Well, it's going to be a remake of an Arnold Schwarzenegger film without Mars and without Sharon Stone. They replace her with Kate Beckinsale. She's a looker, but she's no Sharon Stone, right? Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you. You hear that? My arm's gonna fall off. It's starting to hurt. So obviously I'll do it again. I'll see you in the next one. Ow!